In St. Johns County, studies on flooding in St. Augustine are nothing new, but a new study starting today could be the biggest ever done in the Old City.
And it could bring the most money St. Augustine has ever seen for implementing solutions.
This is going to be transforming the way the city looks and does business over the next 50 years or so.
On your side's Jessica Clark reports on how this could change the face of America's oldest city.
So when we went through Hurricane Ian, the water again went 2 feet up in our house, and so everything was brown just like this.
Terry Quilty's home in St. Augustine was flooded by Ian and then Nicole within 2 months' time.
And then all of a sudden did not expect another hurricane to cause this much damage.
Repeated flooding to people's homes, businesses, and the threat to cultural resources have prompted the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to study St. Augustine's flooding problems and to come up with solutions. But why St. Augustine?
So I think part of it is what's of national interest.
St. Augustine's Chief Resilience Officer Jessica Beach says it's a 3-year, $3 million study.
The Army Corps has the horsepower and the technical expertise to do a pretty sophisticated modeling.
To start with, the study will consider evaluating the entire city limits and then narrow it down. For example, what can be done to provide protection by the fort and the historic district?
It could be a higher flood wall, it could be pump stations, it could be nature-based solutions that can be incorporated with it.
The study will take different aspects into consideration.
Aesthetics, we know that that's a big deal with the city. Cultural resources are huge for us locally. We need to look at our recreation.
Solutions could vary.
Relocation, acquisitions, elevating, doing drainage improvements, flood wall.
And other low-lying historic cities in the U.S. have gone through the same kind of study with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers or are going through it now.
The city of Charleston is one of those, Miami-Dade County.
Beyond the big picture scope, this Army Corps of Engineers study could bring big money from the federal government.
These are your billion-dollar ticket construction projects, potentially. These are the really large projects that the city could not afford any other way, shape, or form.
And for homeowners such as Quilty, it could mean her home would flood less. In St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News on your side.